Grandchild.
Water.
Water.
Children when they're seen but not heard.
Children. We'll just go with children.
Good health.
Good health.
Laughter.
Laughter.
Inspiration.
Inspiration.
Love.
Love.
My home.
My home.
Democracy.
Democracy.
Equity.
Equity.
Theater.
Theater.
Yes.
Books.
Books.
Family.
Family.
Sight.
Sight.
This community.
This community.
Diversity.
Diversity.
Unitarian.
Unitarians.
Good food. Good food.
Good food.
Art.
Art.
Leonardo da Vinci.
Leonardo da Vinci. I am thankful for friends, old and new, for the ability to gather together with one another in 3 dimensions or in 2, our beloved, on Zoom or YouTube, or where do you stream to?
YouTube.
YouTube, our beloved on YouTube. We gather in gratitude, and we ground ourselves in that gratitude because it informs how we go through the rest of our day. May we be connected to all of these things that bring us life, that bring us joy, that make us who we are, that make us whole. I believe our children are going to a class with Jane, and we're going to sing to them as they go. We gather as a community grateful for the ability to bring the wholeness of our lives into this space. And even as we do so, we understand that there is great pain in our world, that there is suffering and war and violence and oppression outside these walls that we are all affected by. We light a candle to honor those sorrows and that pain. We understand that there is great joy out in our world, parties and relationships and people coming together, and we feel that joy, and it is important to, and we light a candle to honor that joy as well. And we have all come into this place, into this sacred space, with our own lives as well. For some of us, the time since we've last been here has been an ordinary time. This last week has been ordinary. There has been ordinary happiness in it, and ordinary sadness in it, and we light a candle to honor that ordinary happiness and sadness as well. And for some of us, this last week, this last month, this past time has been filled with extraordinary joy or extraordinary sorrow. Joy that is so great that it is bursting forth from you, or sorrow so deep that it is weighing upon your hearts. If you have such a joy, we invite you to share it with us briefly now. We invite you to come to the mic or to raise your hand in silent witness to that joy and sorrow. And we invite the rest of you to bear sacred witness to the joys and sorrows of those you are in community with.
So I am going to speak the first joy, and it's from our dear Rita Rotolo, our administrator, for those of you who don't know her, with whom many of us feel we could not live without. And she communicated with me a couple of days ago that Reverend Daniel called her and gave her the wonderful good news that his son JJ is doing so much better. He has gained 4 pounds, and he's doing well, and they're in good spirits, and things are progressing, and we are all very grateful and joyful for this good news. So I will light a candle for that, and again, if anyone would like to come to the microphone or raise your hand for a silent joy or sorrow, please do so.
Hi, I'm Gil Long. For those that don't know, Al Raymond was admitted to the hospital about 2 days ago, and I'm still trying to find out the events that
Heard Pat share over weeks. Her daughter's father, Lee, had been struggling with many health challenges, and we did find out he passed a few days ago. So keep Pat and her daughter Sarah in your thoughts.
I'm Nora. I have a joy and sort of a joy. The first joy is that my nephew got married on Thursday, and it was just a lovely, lovely wedding. Wonderful woman, great party. The sort of joy is I have a cello recital tonight. A little nervous about it, but there it is.
I have a joy. It's interesting that today's sermon is about gratitude, so I am grateful for my uncle, who was a bachelor all his life and was so lovely to Lindy and Felix, but the type of guy who wouldn't help at all when he came for Thanksgiving. He would sit and read his paper, and but then would enjoy the feast, and the kind of uncle who you had to have an oh shoot jar on the table because of his language. He was very sick. It happened really fast. He's really private and didn't say anything. And last weekend he passed away. And we were all with him. And it was wonderful. So it's a joy and a sorrow.
I have a joy. My joys are always mixed with sorrows too, and I guess all of ours are in a certain way. So our daughter Dania, who you guys have never met, she's 23 and she's had a really, really, really hard time the past few years. And we really didn't know. She's super smart, but we really didn't know if she was going to make it to college graduation. And she did. She was on the 5-year plan, but lots of people are. And so last weekend, Dania graduated from college, and she's launched, I guess. So I'm very grateful for that.
Hi, my name is Ginny Stillman. I have a couple of joys. I'll try to make them short and sweet. One is I have a friend here in Croton who lets me always help myself to her flowers. So she had a bunch of peonies that just needed to be cut and put up here for us to enjoy. Second joy is my younger son, Lawrence Stillman, who's a jazz saxophonist, was in town, and there was a small gig up here on whatever, not Finney Farm Road. Anyway, a small gathering in a backyard with a bunch of musicians that was just absolutely joyous. And my third real joy is that last weekend, Jim and I were up in Maine opening his family's summer cottage, and we had the occasion on a rainy, cold day to go to a wonderful wildflower preserve in these very old woods that are 200-300-year-old dark woods. And the floor of the woods were just carpeted with wildflowers, everything from pink lady slippers everywhere. I mean, just mind-boggling. And so joyous and breathtaking, really, to see. You just don't experience things like this very often in your life. So, my joy.
Justin, my partner, and my friends, Sabrina, had her first birthday yesterday, and it just, every time there's a gathering with this family, it brings together all the people who are at the wedding and the rehearsal and all of that about a year and 10 months ago. And it's just joyous to periodically see these people and have this network of connected people.
And we light a final candle to acknowledge all of the unspoken joys and sorrows held within this community of faith. And for all of those people who have yet to find a place where they can bring the joys and the sorrows of their life. We gather all of these joys and these sorrows, spoken and unspoken, the heart of this community of faith, into our beings in a moment of silence.
Our reading today is called Perhaps the World Ends Here by Joy Harjo. The world begins at a kitchen table. No matter what, we must eat to live. The gifts of earth are brought and prepared, set on the table. So it has been since creation, and it will go on. We chase chickens or dogs away from it. Babies teethe at the corners. They scrape their knees under it. It is here that children are given instructions on what it means to be human. We make men at it, we make women. At this table we gossip, recall enemies and the ghosts of lovers. Our dreams drink coffee with us as they put their arms around our children. They laugh with us at our poor, falling down selves, and as we put ourselves back together once again at the table. This table has been a house in the rain, an umbrella in the sun. Wars have begun and ended at this table. It is a place to hide in the shadow of terror, a place to celebrate the terrible victory. We have given birth on this table and have prepared our parents for burial here. At this table, we sing with joy, with sorrow. We pray of suffering and remorse. We give thanks. Perhaps the world will end at the kitchen table while we are laughing and crying, eating of the last sweet bite. Now please rise in body or spirit and join us in singing hymn number 402 in your gray hymnal, From You I Receive.
Let's sing it a bunch of times. I receive to you, I give to you, we share, and from this we live. Why is it that we pray? Why is it that we meditate? Why is it that any of us is asked to engage in spiritual practices? What do they bring to us? I believe that spirituality can be understood as our connection with something greater than ourselves. You can figure out what it is that you are connecting to that is greater than yourselves. Some of you will call that God. Some of you might call it the interdependent web of all existence. Some of you might call it nature. Some of you might understand it to be the web of human community that makes possible change towards the better in our world. You get to figure out what it is that you are connecting to in your spiritual practice. But part of my job is to help you engage in practices that actually connect you to those things. And today I want to explore the practice of gratitude as something that connects us to something greater than ourselves. A practice that we can engage in at the beginning of every day, around the kitchen table, at the end of each day, or whenever it is that we are feeling isolated and alone. Our friend Robin Wall Kimmerer, indigenous ecologist and botanist, who wrote so beautifully about the pecan trees that you learned about the last time I was here, also writes about service berries. Service berries are a native shrub in North America, and she writes a reflection about being overcome by the abundance of serviceberry bushes on her neighbor's property that she was invited to harvest, to share in the harvest of. She writes, "The abundance of berries feels like a pure gift from the land. I have not earned, paid for, nor labored for them. There is no mathematics of worthiness that reckons I deserve them in any way, and yet here they are, along with the sun and the air and the birds and the rain. You could call them natural resources or ecosystem services, but the robins and I know them as gifts. we both sing gratitude with our mouths full. She continues, in the presence of such gifts, gratitude is the intuitive first response. The gratitude flows toward our plant elders and radiates to the rain, to the sunshine, to the improbability of bushes spangled with morsels of sweetness in a world that can be bitter. Gratitude is so much more than a polite thank you. It is the thread that connects us in a deeper relationship, simultaneously physical and spiritual, as our bodies are fed and spirits nourished by the sense of belonging, which is the most vital of foods. Gratitude creates a sense of abundance, the knowing that you have what you need. In that climate of sufficiency, our hunger for more abates, and we take only what we need in respect for the generosity of the giver. The words of Robin Wall Kimmerer as she harvested and ate service berries ripe on the bushes in her neighbor's backyard. Maybe it's the strawberries that you are thankful for, or the annoying baby cousin. Maybe it is the relationships in your life, or art, or beauty, or food. Whatever it is that you are thankful for, the practice of engaging in that gratitude connects us in relationship and in reciprocity with one another, with all the beings of our world. It connects us in relationship and in reciprocity with something greater than ourselves. Now, gratitude is not a light-hearted practice. It is not asking us to ignore the fact that there are struggles in our life as well. We are not being asked to ignore the pain and the sorrow, the difficulties that we face. But if we begin with the things for which we are grateful, we are more likely to be operating from a sense that what we have can be enough. Robin Wall Kimmerer, in writing about the serviceberry, talks about the gift economy, an economy in which things are freely given and received, given from sources of abundance and received in times of scarcity. And it is not the economy that we live in, right? The economy that we live in encourages hoarding of resources. It encourages selfishness. It encourages isolation. Us, in gratitude, asks us to be connected to one another. Connected to one another in how we are living. Connected to one another in how, and that what is bad and harmful and evil in this universe happens when relationships are broken. When relationships are broken because of systems of power and violence and hatred, because of selfishness and greed. All of these things break relationships apart. And they are the things that add evil to our universe. And if we begin instead by grounding ourselves in the relationships that we have, if we remember in our actions that there are things, that there are people for whom we are grateful, we break that cycle of greed and violence and despair and isolation, and we connect to each other. If I am acting in ways that take into account my relationships with the others around me, my family, my community, my state, my world, then I am acting in ways that benefit all. I am adding goodness to the world. I am acting in ways that enhance the life that is around me. I have a serviceberry bush in my backyard, I will admit as well. I planted it because I am trying on my piece of property that is roughly the size of 2 of these pews in Peekskill, downtown. You probably can imagine how small. I am trying to introduce native plants into the ecology of downtown Peekskill. I'm trying my best. There are at least 10 species of bees that make their home in and around among the plants in my garden. I photograph them and I count them and I love them and I welcome them. I provide them with hollow tubes to make their nests in and with dried leaves to burrow in the winter, all in this very, very tiny piece of property, and they come back every year. And I'm trying to introduce native plants because it is a gift to the ecology, to the world around me. And I planted a serviceberry bush in a corner that is shady because I know that it grows under the canopy of forests, because I know that it blooms at a time of year early in the spring when bees and other pollinators are desperate for food, and so it was a gift to my bee friends. And because it creates berries, and I don't expect to eat a single berry from this bush. Like, if I get one, like, it will be super bonus serviceberry time. Squirrels that nest in the maple in my neighbor's yard will get to them long before I decide that they're enough for me. And that's good. I planted this bush as a gift to the ecology of what is around me, as a part of my relationship with the earth and the beings of this earth, and in hopes that if those squirrels eat my 6 berries, they might leave my tomatoes alone. The tomatoes are also a gift, in part to me, because there are enough of them, but in part to those squirrels as well. And so I planted this bush because it's pretty, and because it's native, and because it is a gift. And that bush, every time I walk out my back door, reminds me of the relationships that I have, the relationships that I have declared are important to me in this world. And I am thankful for those relationships. And so I encourage you to spend some time each day, perhaps when you wake up, perhaps when you sit down at the kitchen table with your beloved, whenever it is that you do that, to make it a practice, a daily practice of reflecting on something that you are grateful for, and some relationship that you have that is important to you. Because it is in reminding ourselves of this relationship, of those relationships, that we connect to what is truly greater than we are. And that is a gift for everyone. May it be so. I invite you to rise in body or in spirit and join us in hymn number 118, This Little Light of Mine.
Let
Each week we make an offering from the bounty that we are blessed to enjoy. We do this in the spirit of love and generosity, aware that we have benefited from those who have gone before, those that in their turn gave generously. Our offering goes to support the work of love and justice undertaken by this community. Today's offering will also be shared with the Center for Common Ground, a nonpartisan Black and women-led voting rights organization founded in 2018. They work in states where more than 20% of voters are people of color: Alabama, Arizona, Florida, Georgia, Virginia, North Carolina, South Carolina, and Texas. For more information, please visit their website, centerforcommonground.org, or you may find more information on our website, or also in the e-newsletter. You can make your donation in several ways. If present in the sanctuary, you may give cash or a check in the offering plate as it comes by. In your homes, you can make your donation via credit card or PayPal using the links provided in the e-newsletter, or by visiting our website, uuchudsonvalley.org. Or if you prefer, you may always mail us a check. The offering will now be given and gratefully received. Please join me now in the dedication of the offering. The words can be found in your order of service. May these gifts and the work of our hands and hearts power to always stay the warmth of community or the fire of commitment. These we carry in our hearts until we are together again.
We go forth from this space in gratitude with these words by the Reverend Tanya Marquez. It is a wonder to make us more compassionate and loving. May our hearts and minds be open to this offering. I am so glad you are here. Let us worship. Let us marvel at the mystery of being here right now and the mystery that has brought us together. Go in peace. Dan?